I want to tell you a little story about, well, it's a short story. I don't know, maybe it's not even a story. Maybe it's too short to be a story. But whatever it is, I want to tell you about the time that I came to Japan last. So that would have been in 2019. And I had decided to go out for a walk by myself, just around the sort of local area I was staying in. And I went to a park. I was walking. I walked out. I walked in the park. I walked around the park. I walked outside of the park, and then I was just walking along this normal street. Like road in the middle for cars, pavement on one side of the road, I think, and then there were houses on both sides of the road, and then I was just carried on walking around the bend. It was like curving just a little bit, like the road was curving. And then as soon as I got round this bend, there was a goat in front of me, just on the pavement. And I'm not used to seeing goats. I mean, I used to live in England, and if you're driving past farms, you can see. You don't usually see pigs. You can see sheep. You can see cows. You can see horses. You can see goats sometimes. But still, I'm not used to seeing one just on the pavement in front of me. And so I stopped and I thought, what on earth is this doing here? And I looked around and I thought, why is there no one here? And then I noticed that this goat had like rope, like a sort of like a lead, like a collar or some kind of rope tying it to this fence. So it was standing by all of this grass. I mean, not a lot of grass. It's like there was a pavement, and then next to the pavement there was like, I don't know, about a meter wide patch of grass, and it went along for about 5 meters or something. So a small amount of grass. But at this particular time, the goat wasn't eating any grass. It was just staring directly at me. So maybe I scared it. I don't know, when I came around the corner. And it scared me a bit as well. And we were just looking at each other. So yeah, that's where I was just like wondering what on earth is going on here. But then it worked out. The goat was like, tied up to this sort of like a fence panel. And it was doing the job of a lawnmower. That's what it was there for, which is just shocking to me. It's still shocking to me. Like the idea of, using an animal to cut grass. It makes sense. But I don't think you would ever see it in England. I've never seen it happening. No, actually, that's a little bit of a lie. I have seen it happening in fields, big areas with lots and lots of grass that are just like separated from humans, so the animals live in those fields, and then the animals I've seen like horses like eating the grass in a particular area. And then like a farmer moves them around and then they eat the grass in another area. I've seen that happen. I've just never seen it happen in a pedestrian area, in an area for people to walk around, on the side of a road, next to people's houses and stuff like that. That would not happen in England. There would probably be some laws that would stop that from happening. We call that those kind of animals like sheep and pigs and I don't know, donkeys and horses and goats. They're called livestock. So there's particular rules about where you can have livestock and where you can keep them and where you can put them. I don't think you just walk down the road with a goat and just like leave it there and let it mow your lawn. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe you can, but no one does it. I've really no idea. It's just, for me, it was such a bizarre thing to all of a sudden just chance upon one day when I was out for a walk. But I suppose the goat looked happy enough. He or she was munching on some tasty grass by the time I left. So I don't know, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a good thing to do. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is the other day, I heard this goat sound. It was really far in the distance. I'm sitting in my flat and I'm just, working, doing my job. and I can hear like this goat sound, and I just think, what was it? Was that a goat? Was that a weird like a cat making a sound? Because where we live, there's no reason to have goats anywhere, and I'd sort of forgotten about the this time, that I'd found this goat in Japan, all those years ago. So I was thinking like, no, there's no goat around here. There aren't any farms. Why would there be goats? So I heard it in the distance, didn't really hear it properly because it was so quiet, and just thought, I don't know, cat, maybe a child making strange noise, something. And it happened again, like a few days later, and I thought, it just did sound a bit like a goat. And it happened again some more days later, and I thought, this is getting ridiculous. There must be a goat somewhere, or a sheep, or something that sounds like a goat. So I went to the window, and I've got some binoculars. I don't know. I must have told you before, but where we live on a nice clear day, you've got like a really nice view of Mount Fuji, and I bought some binoculars just so I can look at it even like more closely and in more detail. So I like doing that from time to time. Sometimes on the sunset, when all the mountains covered in snow and sun on one side, or sometimes in the early morning, it's nice as well. So I was looking on the ground, like, can I see any animals anywhere? And I couldn't for a while, but then I found a goat, and it was a goat, and it was just in the middle of there are some fields near us, but then it's not. I wouldn't call them a field normally. Like when I'm in England and I say the word field, it's a giant area, like huge, big grassy area. That's my idea of a field. And maybe it's used for playing games on, like a sort of football field, or maybe it's used for growing crops in, growing food in, or maybe it's used for keeping livestock on, keeping these animals on. But in Japan, it seems to be the case that there's lots of smaller fields. And how big would I say it is? I would say it's about 30 meters by 10 meters, or 20 meters by 10 meters. But it's apparently classed as a field, and people can grow things, like an allotment. We've got allotments in England actually, and you can contact a local council or something and apply for an allotment. I think it might be free. I'm not sure about that now, or maybe you have to pay a small amount of money. And you can grow your own things on a small amount of land. So to me, it looks like an allotment, not a field, really. But anyway, and there's a goat just in the middle of it, and it's doing the same thing that the other goat I saw all those years ago was doing. It's just there, just lawn mowing, just taking care of the grass, making it short. Which is weird. I still think it's weird. It's still weird just to be sitting here in my flat and then just to be able to hear a goat. I mean, at the moment, the windows are closed because it's too cold to have them open. But maybe in the summer, when we've got the windows open, it'll be really loud. So it's just strange to live in such an urban area. It's full of roads and houses and people and cars, and then you can just hear this goat. Because you would never get that in England unless you were in the countryside, I think you'd have to have a house in the countryside, or there'd have to be some weird scenario where you're living next door to a farm. It's like houses really close to farms, but that doesn't happen so much. It's like in England, spaces are more sort of like kept separate and further apart. So that land over there is for farming, and then that land over there is for houses, and they're very far from each other. Or that land over there is for industrial things, like buildings and factories and stuff like that, and they're far from the houses as well. I mean, maybe there's some cases where they can be a bit close in some scenarios, but not like over here. It's like over here, everything is just all mixed together. You've just got fields next to houses, next to factories, next to goats, next to next to cows, next to it's just all crazy. Yeah, it's really weird. It's only when you get into somewhere, like really huge, big cities over here that it's just like buildings, buildings, buildings. Like skyscrapers and big, huge towers and concrete everywhere and roads and no grass and no parks and well, there's parks, but small parks. So yeah, it's only when you get into the really big cities that everything's just like one sort of style. But it seems like in other places, further away from the huge cities, everything's just all mixed up and crazy. But anyway, on the plus side, I've got something else to look at with my binoculars now. I keep checking on how the goat's doing. So like this morning, it was raining quite a lot. And I was looking out like, oh, is the goat okay? What's the goat doing now? So, it's not all bad, I suppose. I might go and pay the goat a visit one day, because there's like a path near this goat and I can walk a bit closer, see how they're doing. No, it's just weird. It's just weird having like these animals living so close to houses and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess that's just, one of the things that's different about Japan. So there you go. That's my story about a goat for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed listening, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye bye.